Hello everyone, good morning. I think I'll give a minute or two more for others to join, otherwise we can begin. Kaushal, I do not have sharing rights, I guess. Can you please? Is my screen visible? All right. Without further ado, we'll begin. Uh, is this session getting recorded? हाँ, recording on. ठीक है. Cool. So those of you who have joined for the first time today, I'll give a brief introduction about myself. This is Harsha Bansal, and I've been working with WTW in the life insurance side for the past 4 years. And I did my graduation from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. And today's session, so we've been having such small sessions on weekends regarding how to build your CV, how to prep for your interview. And these are mostly for freshers. So I'm guessing the audience is mostly freshers, but if not, we'll be happy to address the other audience as well. So today's topic is how to build a CV from scratch, and this has been mostly designed again for freshers. That's about it from me, and without further ado, we'll begin the session. So the contents that we'll be covering today is what is a CV, the importance of a CV, contents of a CV that make an impact, some do's and don'ts in CV building, best practices in CV writing, the format of a plain vanilla CV, action words for a CV that make an impact, and some frequently asked questions. Before we begin, I just want to check, is everybody all awake and not in the Sunday morning sleep till now? So to make the session a little interactive, the first question goes to you guys. What do you think is a CV or a curriculum vitae? Anybody can unmute and answer.
A document which summarizes all the qualifications of a person.
Yep, correct. Anything else? Is it just qualifications?
And include personal information.
Right. What else? All right, no worries. Whatever you all said was all correct. So what is a CV? A document that represents your life story in a short, crisp yet concise form. So as you all mentioned, it's a very short description of your qualifications, your academic, your professional achievements, about yourself, your career objectives, your achievements, your co-curricular activities, your personal details, and so on and so forth. We'll be discussing the contents in detail shortly. So that's that about what a CV is. And it is also a lifesaver during an interview, as it enables you to leverage on your CV to steer the interview questions in your favor. Why I say this is because whatever you mention on your CV, basically your CV provides an introduction about yourself to an interviewer, and that is how you guide the course of your interview. Whatever you mention on your CV, you'll be asked questions based on those information. So this helps you steer the interview questions in your favor. So for example, you have relevant knowledge in some field, you'll mention that, and the interviewer will ask questions based on that to you during the interview. And when you're able to answer those questions confidently because you're comfortable in that area, that's when you know the interview is going well and you might get the job. On the contrary, when there's something you have done, you might not have done, you're part confident, you might want to skip mentioning that in your CV, because if you're asked questions on those, you might not be able to answer. We'll be discussing all of this in the later part of the session. But yeah, that's that. So this is very brief about what actually a curriculum vitae is. What is the importance of a good CV? Now that you have a CV, uh, what would happen if you do not have a CV? If you just got the interview called straight away via acquaintances, via references, or you're not having a good or an attractive CV. So what tends to happen is most employers do not shortlist you. So if it's not in a good format, not well written, not well presented, has some grammatical errors, or is in the middle, is left empty in the middle of the page, say it's a 1.5 page or a zero point 0.5 page or a 2.5 page CV, it's not a good enough CV, not attractive enough to the employer to shortlist you. So this is the first step in getting your dream job. So if your CV does not get shortlisted, so you might not get the interview call and you lose the chance of getting your dream job. The next point is, if at all they do shortlist you, considering some references or whatever, they do shortlist your CV, they might not place you at a good enough position, or they might not assign you challenging work, because that's what you bring to the table from your CV. That's the first impression you make in front of an employer. And if they think that you're not capable of making good CV, you might not be capable of doing challenging work. So that's also another con of not having a good CV. So it's very, very, very important as a fresher to have an attractive and a very good CV. Am I going too fast? If there's anything you do not understand, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt, stop me, unmute yourself, and ask any questions whenever. Is the pace all right? All right. I assume silence is a no always. Moving on to the contents of a CV that make an impact. What a few of you just mentioned when I asked what a CV is. Those are a few contents of the CV. And right after that, I also mentioned a few other contents of a CV. Is there anything that anybody feels that I've missed? Or let's do the other way around. Let's quickly go through whatever you guys feel a CV contains. One person can mention one thing at a time. That gives more of us chance to participate. Anybody?
Education qualifications.
Correct. Is that it?
Soft skills and technical skills.
Correct. What else?
Achievements.
Right.
Positions of responsibility held.
Very good. What else?
Starting summary.
Correct. That's the career statement or objective. Good. What else?
Hobbies.
Yes, you can. Anything else?
Internships and projects.
Correct.
Contact email.
Right. Very important. Your personal details. That was what I was looking for up until now. So for the basics, I'm sure everybody has prepared a CV or has seen one till date. So the very basic that you start with is your details. Let's move to the next slide. That's your name, your email ID, your contact number, your LinkedIn URL, things like those. That's your personal details. Moving on to the next section, that's again a part of your personal details. That's age, gender, and place of current residence. Then you have a section called your career objective or career statement. Somebody rightly mentioned this as well. Educational qualifications might contain two sections. That's your academic qualifications and your professional qualifications. Can somebody tell me what's the difference between academic and professional qualifications? Anybody?
Academic basically is related to school and college. while professional is like we are doing actuarial, so that qualifications.
Correct. Absolutely right. So in your academic, you will include your 10, 12, and your college qualifications. And in your professional, you will include all of that that's not a part of your academic. Basically, if you've done any course on financial markets, if you're pursuing CA, CS, CFA, FRM, or actuarial in our case, that's about our education. Then we move on to a section called work experience. Somebody rightly mentioned, since the most of today's audience is a fresher, so I'm guessing none of us will have it. But in case we do have an internship experience or a starter opportunity, if somebody who's an experienced person has also joined the call, so that's about the work experience section. We'll be discussing this in detail right after this. Then we move on to the achievements. This will mostly be related to our work and some academic achievements. Herein, you can include the very basic and the very important ones, because I'm sure most of us tend to have a lot of achievements. We'll not mention all of it. We'll mention some of it, which is very, very important and might be relatable to the job we are applying for. And also, we do not want to sound boastful. So this be a part of our achievements. Then next up, we have extracurricular activities. In this section, we'll include publications. So in our colleges, we do have those magazines like a You Think or something like that. So you might have contributed for a publication over there. So you can mention that. That's a very good extracurricular activity. If you're a part of societies and sports organizing events in NGOs, in your college, school, or in any other out of college also, you can mention that. If you have held any leadership positions in school, college, etc., you can mention those, of course. This shows that you have good management and leadership qualities. Next up, your interests. If you have an interest in, say, managing, or you have an interest in social work, if you have an interest in sports, any of that, somebody mentioned hobbies earlier, you can mention that in the extracurricular activities section, and your achievements will follow alongside. Finally, we have other information that's optional, wherein you can write your father's name in our case, since you're mostly freshers, and that's the current care of, you can mention. But this is something we tend to avoid these days, so hence I've written optional here. Your place of residence. When we mention place of residence, I tend to avoid giving my personal correspondence address. You can just mention the city. This helps the interviewer assess whether you'll have to reallocate or not, whether they'll have to bear the cost of your reallocation or not, whether you'll be willing to reallocate or not. This also forms a part of your interview when you're a fresher. And for experienced people, they tend to look out for people in the same place. So if there's a job opening in, say, Gurugram, so they'll look for people who are residing in Gurugram. This is specifically for Mumbai. I've seen a lot of openings wherein they want a resident of Mumbai itself. So this sometimes happens, but it's not a very rigid case. So hence we try to mention only the city, your availability, your place of posting, etc. We'll not focus on the last section a lot, but we'll focus on the others, which are more important. Any questions up until now?
Ma'am,
Yes.
what is career objective?
Yeah, so we'll be discussing it in detail shortly.
Ma'am, is letting age and gender important?
It's not a compulsion. It's not compulsory, but I've seen in most of the CVs, and you can mention.
Okay.
So to answer your question, a career objective or a career statement is a very short and crisp one-liner wherein you tend to specify to the interviewer what your long-term goal or what your long-term objective is, what you want to gain, what you want to offer. So we'll be coming across examples shortly. And this is very important. This tends to be missing in most CVs that have not, people who have not spent a lot of time and people who have not given enough they've not dedicated time in making their CV, they tend to miss this. And if this is there in your CV, it just gives an add-on or a plus point to your CV. So it's a good to have.
Okay, miss.
Any other questions? All right. Moving on to some do's and some don'ts in CV building. So, can some of you unmute and say what do you think are some basic do's in CV building?
Always inputting the correct information.
Correct. Good. You should not lie on your CV. Anything else?
मैम नंबर में ज़्यादा ऐड करना चाहिए.
You mean
क्वांटिटी टर्म में दिखना चाहिए ज़्यादा.
correct?
पॉइंट्स में ज्यादा होना चाहिए पैराग्राफ के कंपेयर.
Correct. Just a second. Sorry about that. Is my screen visible again? I think I didn't stop present. Hey, now my screen visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
miss.
All right, we'll move to some do's in CV building. First things first, key in all your ideas as per the format and then delete redundant information. So what we tend to do is while we are starting, you always have to build a CV from scratch. I know it's the tendency to copy paste, take somebody else's CV and update your information in that, but we'll tend to avoid that. Take a blank document, start from scratch, key in whatever, just jot down all the points you want to mention in your CV, then move to the format, start putting in your relevant information as per the format, then move to the size and formatting, and then start deleting redundant information. Say for example, you have 10 achievements and you jot all 10 of them down on your document, but you see that it becomes a longer CV and you start sounding boastful on the achievement side. So you'll have to start deleting unnecessary information, and that's how you do it. Initially, don't focus on the size and the format of the CV. Just focus on the key points that you want to mention in your CV. Moving on, start to focus on the formatting, the spelling, and the grammar. It's very, very, very important. Like I mentioned earlier also in the section wherein we were discussing the importance of a good CV. If, say, for example, there are formatting errors, there's spelling and grammatical errors, it shows a very bad impression in front of the interviewer, and they might not select your CV for the job, because communications form a very important part of our job, specifically for actuarial. Next up, we have tailored to the description of the job that you're applying for. I always try to mention this whenever you're applying for a specific job. The requirements might be different. So before sending in your CV, you always go through the JD, that's a job description. So the description for each company or each role might be different. For example, there's an opening in the modeling team of XYZ company, and they require somebody proficient in Excel, Python, VBA, and you are somebody who's an expert in Excel but might not be in Python, and who also knows mid-level VBA. So you'll have to update your CV for the software skills section to mention all of this: proficient in Excel, middle level or intermediate level VB expert, and then a beginner in Python or learning Python. These 3 key pointers will highlight to the interviewer or the HR who's shortlisting CVs, and which is when you move one step ahead in the process of getting the job. If this is not the case, and next up, so when you're applying for a second job, which is for reserving, which requires, say, cleared CT1, CT5, or CM1 papers, this will obviously be a part of your education already. But if there's anything that's specifically required as per the JD, you'll try and incorporate that in your CV. For example, you have done an internship in content writing, which might not be relevant for an actual job that you're applying for. So you might want to exclude that from the CV. Whereas if you've done an internship in, say, as a financial analyst in financial markets, that might be helpful in getting your actual internships or jobs. So you have to always tailor your CV accordingly. Always check the JD first, check your CV if you have already built one, other build a CV, and then send to the HR or whoever you're sending to. Cool. Moving to the next point, that's the document name for a CV should be first name, last name, dash profession. So for example, in my case, it would be Harsha space Bansal dash actuarial analyst. So this is a good professional document name. Do not mention Harsha Bansal underscore final underscore PDF or underscore CV underscore resume. It's very important to have one. It should not have underscore V1, V2, bracket में 1, 2. That sounds very unprofessional. So document name हमेशा finally edit करके भेजना है हमें. CV should always be shared in a PDF format. Very, very, very important again. Why I say this is because, say for example, I share a CV in MS Word format, and I've been using a different version of MS Word, when I might have used a functionality which is not present in the MS Word format that the interviewer or the HR has. So it might open in a haphazard way. It might not open in a format that I had shared with, and it might not look good. Whereas when we do it in a PDF format, it is a universal format. It opens as in how we've shared it. So no changes can be made. So that's how you lock in your CV. So it should always be shared in a PDF format. Always place 2 references ready for your candidature from either professors at college and people who are placed in a good career path and you know well. So this is very important, but this is important in a later stage. Why I tell this is because once they've done all of you've cleared your technical rounds, HR rounds, your CVs shortlisted, your interviews are done. What they tend to do is to do your background verification and checks. They contact these 2 references that you've mentioned earlier. And if they approve your candidature, is when you get the job. So you can mention people like one of them could be your professor from a college, and the other one could be somebody like a Praveen sir or a Shivangi ma'am who are placed in a good position, who are well known in the industry, and who might also give a good reference about you. So that's that. We have some other points we'll cover quickly. Whatever you write on your CV should be supported with a story which can be elaborated in the interview. Someone rightly mentioned at the start, always mention what's true, do not lie on your CV, because you will be asked questions based on those, and then you should have a story to tell the interviewer. You should not fumble, or you should not start lying, and you should not start saying that this is not what I tried to mention. But you should always mention the true details, and you should be able to elaborate it with the help of a story when asked questions on that during an interview. The professional skills that you developed over the years should be highlighted on the CV. Like I just mentioned, the Excel and the paths. And if you were, like most of us are budding actuaries, student actuaries, so all of the actuarial papers that you've cleared, any supporting documents, say for example, if you've done any internship that might be relevant for an actuarial field based on economics, stats, or financial markets, etc. So you can mention those. Your professional skills will also include all of the actuarial exams. Your software skills will also include the softwares that you've done, your R, Excel, any other that you know of, Python, VBA, Power BI. These are very important softwares these days. And we'll be discussing this again when we come to the soft skill section. Use action words while documenting your work experience in extracurricular activities. This only brings to highlight your work experience in extracurricular activities. Since most of us are freshers, work experience might not be relevant, but your extracurricular activities will come to light in this case. What we mean by extracurricular activities we just discussed earlier, but I'll repeat for your ease. This might be any commerce fest that you've been a part of, any societies that you've been a part of in your school college days, any MUNs, your business fest that you've been a part of. You can also mention if you've just been a part of, or if you've won, or if you've qualified, if you've won any prize money or any awards. That's worth mentioning. But if you've not been victorious, and if you just want to mention participated, been a part of, that's also good. Mention the respective year for all achievements in extracurricular activities. Always mention the years alongside your achievements, your extracurricular activities. Why I say this is because outdated achievements might not be relevant in current date. So I'll give you an example. Say for example, you're in third year, you're preparing your CV for your job, and you had some achievement back in class 8, say. So that might not be relevant today. But if you have an achievement in, say, college, that might be relevant for your current job role. So if you feel that's very, very important, say for example, you won the student of the year or the best outgoing student in your college, that shows a very good quality you possess, and that will be just 2-3 years down the line. So you can mention that. So always mention year, and it should be in an order, either in ascending or descending order in your CV. Moving to the penultimate points, that mention your LinkedIn profile via a custom link or a QR code. So I'm sure most of us have a LinkedIn profile as of now. If not, it's high time you build one. Make a LinkedIn profile. Someday we can have a session on how to build a LinkedIn profile, but that's not for today. Most of you all have already, so I'll show you where you can copy the LinkedIn profile from. If you go to LinkedIn, and if you click on me, you'll have your view profile section, and herein you'll see this pen or pencil wherein you can edit your details. If you click on that, you'll have this edit intro section wherein I have my contact info section. If you click on edit contact info, the first thing that you have is your profile URL. This is your LinkedIn profile URL. Copy this and paste it in your CV, and wherever you are accompanying your CV or anything, you must have built a good LinkedIn profile by then. Always attach this. So this is how you get to the LinkedIn URL, which I mentioned here. Final thing, always mention the date in your CV at the end. This is a good to have, not a must have. Moving on to the don'ts. Do we have any questions on the do's in CV building before we move on to the don'ts?
Ma'am, what do you mean by action words?
So I'll come to that section also. Action words, you mean participated, won, was nominated. Say for example, was nominated for the Student of the Year award, participated in Business Fest, been a part of the organizing committee. So those show your skills.
Ma'am, you have written in the last that always mention the date in your CV at the end. Means which date, ma'am?
The date, say for example, you are sending in your CV to the HR or to the interviewer or anybody, your acquaintance. The recent date, say for example, I'll be sending my CV tomorrow, so I might mention today's or tomorrow's date. This shows that the CV is up to date. This can be avoided, like I told. It's a good to have, not a must have.
And
Yes.
what do you mean by other professional skills?
Sorry, are you talking about this professional skills?
Yes, miss.
So, like I told, if you have, if you have, one of this will obviously be actuarial because most of us are pursuing actuarial science. If you have anything alongside, that's your CA, CS, CFA, FRM, or any other degree that you're pursuing. Then, if you're doing any course on Coursera, Udemy, or LinkedIn, for example, on some softwares or on some management tools or anything, say, for example, you're learning financial modeling, that's also a good professional skill that you possess. So there's an endless list. Those are all professional skills that you can mention. Sorry. Is that answered?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Any other questions?
Ma'am, like apart from professional skills, other skills like leadership, communication, should we also add that in our profile or not?
Yes, that's very, very important. Like I mentioned, some of it will form a part of professional skills. The other will form a part of achievements and extracurriculars. As freshers, since we do not have work experience and most of us do not even have an internship experience, these are the skills that are highlighted, and based on what our CV gets shortlisted, based on what we get a job. So definitely mention. Like I told, if you've held a leadership position in school, that shows that you have those leadership qualities, you possess management skills. So that's when you get the job accordingly. So definitely you should include those.
That will be in achievements or in extracurricular activities.
It depends. What are you trying to ask for particularly?
Like I was head boy in school, so.
Yes, you'll mention in your extracurricular activities.
All right.
Any other questions?
Ma'am, should we have certificates when we say that we learned Python or any extra course?
See, you'll mention it in your CV, and you should have those certificates handy and ready. But since you trust yourself, you're not lying on your CV, the interviewer should also trust yourself. And that trust comes on the basis how you answer those questions based on those. Certificates are only asked in the later course just to give a formal check or a proof, but it should not be attached in advance. Like, you do not want to throw away certificates saying I've done this, I've done this. You'll just mention I've done this and they'll ask question based on those. If you've done it and if you were well versed with it, you'll be able to answer those questions. They'll not ask it for a proof. It's just a formal procedure that they follow towards the end of the job offer that they're giving is when they ask for certificates. But I always mention to everyone, don't attach certificates yourself in advance. That shows that either you do not trust yourself or you do not think the interviewer trusts you. So that should be proved via.
So we will always have to learn these courses through formal institutes only, and not on ourselves through YouTube or something like that.
No. That's not what I meant. You can obviously do that, but then you'll not have certificates. You'll mention it accordingly. You have knowledge in that. And like I told, if they ask you questions and you're able to answer, they do not want those certificates. Those certificates are just a formal procedure and a formal process in the part of job offer. But even if you do not have those, you can definitely mention this is how I've learned and I do not have any certificates. Then that's just for a proof if you have cleared that interview, if you're getting the job offer. But before that, you need to be able to answer those questions that they're asking based on that course. So if you're able to do that, they sometimes might not even ask for a proof.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Now one thing, let's say I've done a data analytics course in Python from Udemy. So in my resume, I will be mentioning that word Udemy, or won't I be mentioning that?
You need not mention Udemy. You can mention the software skill. So they do not, like I just mentioned, they do not care about the institute or the platform you have learned via. You can simply sit and learn beside me. Like, say, for example, I know Excel and I'm teaching you. We are classmates or we are just friends and I'm teaching you. That's no formal institute or anything. They do not want to know how you learned it, but what's more important is that you know it. And if you're able to answer questions, that means you know it, and that's how you get the job, or your CV gets, your interview goes well. By this, like for example, you might ask me, somebody mentioned YouTube. There might be other platforms wherein courses are getting offered, but they're not as recognized or professional bodies, so to say. So that is not at all important. Like I told, the knowledge is important. From wherever you gather, that's not important.
Okay.
So you can just mention learnt or have proficient knowledge or possess so and so skills, but need not mention from Udemy, from Coursera, from this. They do not care about that at all. Any other question? All right. Moving on to some don'ts in CV building. Now that most of us have done some do's, anybody would like to take a go at what are some don'ts?
CV must not be too large.
Correct. Anybody else?
Personal information should be at the top.
हाँ, we are discussing some don'ts. तो वो do में आ गया. ठीक है. चलो कोई नहीं. Write CV as heading in your document. It wastes valuable space and gives a bad impression. Like I told earlier, but that was for the document name. But this is for your CV heading. For example, you form a CV. The first thing that's the header in your CV should not have Harsha Bansal CV or resume, or CV or resume should not be mentioned in your heading. You can just mention your name, and that's good. You should not send CVs which have a lot of empty space, like somebody mentioned. It should be an appropriate length ka CV. I mentioned it earlier as well. 0.5 page, 1.5 page, 2.5 pages are a must, strict no. That also does not mean that font size बढ़ा के you'll fit into 1 page or a 2 page or a 3 page. It should be fit to the purpose. Size भी नहीं बड़ा होना चाहिए, spaces ज़्यादा नहीं होने चाहिए. Spaces ज़्यादा होते तो it shows that you do not have any information to put it on your CV. So again, that's a no. So try to avoid a lot of empty spaces. Either fill in with relevant information or shorten it. 1.5 page का है, उसमें आधा पेज खाली होगा, इससे बढ़िया shorten it to bring it to 1 page. ठीक है. Moving on to mentioning everything on the CV, as you will not be able to. You should only have crisp enough detail for the interviewer to ask questions based on those. This makes the interviewer curious and inquisitive about your experiences. And this also makes your interview go smooth as you're able to elaborate and tell your story during the interview. Do not mention everything. Say, for example, volunteered with CRY as an NGO and did some so-and-so sessions with them. Do not mention the entire story. हमने ये किया, weekly sessions किया, उनको ये सिखाया, ये किया, वो किया. Leave that for the interview. Mention crisp enough details that makes it attractive. फिर वो interview के दौरान उस पे questions पूछ सके, and that's when you elaborate. Mention full correspondence or permanent address. I mentioned earlier, do not mention the permanent or full address. Just mention the city. That should be enough. Mention your strengths and weaknesses on your CV. Must a strict no. Strengths and weaknesses kahin nahi aata CV mein. This might be a question asked during your initial stages of an interview. Do not use word art, fancy fonts anywhere in your CV. Again, CV should be very professional, crisp, concise, and to the point. So fancy fonts, word arts, styles, colors are a strict no. Keep it very simple, plain, vanilla, and professional. Do not mention a lot of achievements on your CV, like I mentioned. Choose the very important ones, relevant and apt ones, and put those. Mentioning a lot of achievements shows that you're very proud and boastful about your achievements. We do not want to sound so. These were some don'ts in CV buildings. I think these were very easy to go. And if you have any questions, we can take up.
Ma'am,
Yes.
since the CV shouldn't be fancy with colors and all, so should we prefer making it on Word and like software like Word other than Canva or the software?
Yes. That's very important. You should try and build your CV from scratch on a Word document.
Yeah, so the Canva templates are no, right?
Yes, but it also depends on what. If it's very simple, plain, and looks professional, you can use those. But I tend to stick to Word. That's very that looks very professional.
Okay.
By word art and fancy, I meant using colorful text, using fancy fonts, using some transitions, and all of those should be avoided. That does not look good in a CV. Some Canva templates have things like you have a header essay colored में. I think Canva templates में भी यही होता है, side में एक panel colored है, but the other is all black and white. So उतना तक is okay, but not using कि header अलग color में है, उसके बाद table colorful है, उसके बाद you have अलग अलग fonts में. So those are a strict no.
Ma'am, also can we add a picture? Should we add a picture or no in the CV?
Earlier I've seen we used to avoid, but these days I've seen लोग डालते भी हैं and some of them ask also. So it depends if it's a Canva template or some other template wherein there is a good enough space for a picture, you can insert it. Otherwise, generally picture cover letter में जाती है. So again, like I told, tailor your CV as per the job. तो अगर कोई job CV plus cover letter मांग रहा है, तुम cover letter भेज रहे हो, उस cover letter में तुम्हारी picture है, so you can remove picture from your CV. दोनों जगह need नहीं है. If you're just sending in your CV and there is a placeholder for your picture, you can put in your picture. If you're just sending in your CV or cover letter and अलग से they've asked for your passport photograph, there's again no need. But अगर तुम्हें जबरदस्ती फिट इन करनी पड़ रही है सीवी में स्पेस नहीं है तो देयर इज अगेन नो नीड क्योंकि सीवी शॉर्टलिस्ट होता है तो इंटरव्यू होता है एंड इंटरव्यू में तो इट्स either a video interview or you have to present virtual you have to present yourself in office. It's not virtual. So any which ways they get to see it. But some places they do ask for a picture or cover letter में तो होता ही है. So that's that. It's flexible, not a compulsory or a must-have in your CV.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, as you said that if you are a volunteer at CRY, you should not mention everything in detail. But suppose if I am a co-founder at an NGO, then should I write some basic crisp information like, led 15 to 20 people or held these many campaigns over the years? ऐसा कुछ भी लिखना है कि वो इंटरव्यू के लिए?
Yes, you can write जैसे you told held so and so campaigns, but वो campaign की detail मत देना सारी. You led a team of so and so people, but उसके सारे team members क्या करते कहाँ है क्या है वो सारी details मत देना. Definitely you'll mention this led a team, held campaigns. यही तो attract करेंगे ना, यही तो action words है, यही तो content है. Otherwise तो just a co-founder that तो does not make sense. उसमें एक दो bullet point डाल दो, but उन पे elaborate करने के लिए कुछ interview के लिए छोड़ देना.
Okay, and suppose I am a professional chess player, so then should I mention some of my main achievements? क्योंकि वो 2018 onwards के हैं, तो 2019 तक के mainly है, तो वो कर सकते हैं mention या नहीं कर सकते?
See, you can mention a professional chess player, and you have if you have say 5 achievements from then, तो तुम पांचों मत डालो ना. That will sound very boastful क्योंकि तुम chess के अलावा भी कुछ achievements डालोगी. So that will make it very long. So professional chess player have won so and so national, international, state level awards. वो very recent past से always move backwards. We're in the year 2024, 23, 22, 21 तक के डाल दो. उससे पहले तुम 28, 19 तक पहुंचो तो तुम पूरी लिस्ट ही बना बैठे हो achievements की. वो मत करना.
Okay.
If you do not have any in the recent past and तुम्हारी वही है to mention, then you can mention.
हाँ बस वही है कि 2019 में मेन इंटरनेशनल थे, उसके बाद आई वर्कड विद मेनी इंटरनेशनल, सो उसी
So
का
you,
है.
if that's more important, that's more relevant, you can mention that and
Yeah.
avoid the recent one. Basically,
Okay.
ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
No problem. Any other question?
Ma'am, is black and white resume more preferred in the industry?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Is black and white resume more preferred in the industry?
See, black and white is simple, easy to comprehend. ऐसा नहीं है कि colorful, मतलब colorful doesn't ऐसे थोड़ा jolly, थोड़ा less serious and वो लगता है. Black and white is more professional since you're transitioning from school, college to corporate. तो वो transition तो आना ही चाहिए and आना ही पड़ेगा. So मैं ये नहीं कह रही black and white is preferred, but ये colorful does not look professional in plain simple terms. अब टेक्स्ट तो तुम एनी विच वेज ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में ही रखोगे. एट द मैक्स कलर लाइक आई टोल्ड क्या ही होगा, साइड में कोई पैनल होगा, ऊपर में कोई होगा, कहीं कुछ. यू कैन नॉट हैव से सेक्शंस इन डिफरेंट कलर्स, दैट विल ऑब्वियसली बी ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट. मतलब मैंने आज तक कोई सीवी ही नहीं देखा है जो कलरफुल हो.
Alright.
हाँ मतलब बैकग्राउंड अगर बेज या कुछ कर दे देन दैट इज फाइन. जस्ट द बैकग्राउंड, पूरा बैकग्राउंड.
Again, that is a very subtle, light and professional looking color, beige
Yeah.
or a gray, not pop up colors.
Okay, so that works, right?
Right.
What should be the length of the CV? Like 1 page only, right?
For a fresher, I would suggest 1 page. We'll come to that. I have a slide for that as well. But if you have enough details कि वो 1 page में cover नहीं हो रहा, और तो again we do not want to leave it to 1.5 also. तो फिर 2 page के लिए information ready रखना. But fresher के लिए I'll always stick to 1 page. And अगर you're an experienced person, you have say 0.5, 1 plus any how much experience you have, then if you can elongate it to 2 page, then it's okay.
Ma'am, so if we want to include our college society experiences, like what we learned from it, how can we do that? Because वो length कुछ ज़्यादा ही बढ़ा देता है. If I've been active in many societies from my first year.
So again, like I told, achievements or extracurricular sections में you'll mention those, but in a very brief and a short manner. उसको इतना सब कुछ लिखो, try and mention everything. अब तो chat GPT है, paraphrase, and I'm sure you're all good at English and paraphrasing everything. तो वो try to mention all relevant ones and उनको शॉर्ट एंड क्रिस्प फॉर्मेट में. सबकी डिटेल्स मत डालो, वो डिटेल्स लीव इट फॉर द इंटरव्यू, या फिर उनमें से कट डाउन अ फ्यू. इफ यू फील कि बहुत ज्यादा है, मुझे सब नहीं मेंशन करनी, तो कट डाउन अ फ्यू. मतलब क्या ही होगा. टेल मी अ फ्यू, गिव मी अ फ्यू एग्जांपल्स.
Yeah, I
व्हाट
can
ऑल डू यू
only
वांट?
include the POR ones, like where I hold the POR. Not only, I will not include the member, like where I've been the member. I will not include them.
नो, यू कैन डेफिनेटली इंक्लूड, बट इनमें से मोस्ट रेलिवेंट टू द जॉब या फिर वो क्या है, मतलब कुछ एग्जांपल्स दो.
Relevant to the job, as in ma'am, POR
नो
ही
नो,
है, like vice president and all.
नहीं ये सब एक बार व्हाट आई हैव टोल्ड फॉरगेट इट. यू गिव मी योर एग्जांपल्स कि तुम क्या क्या मेंशन करना चाहते हो. व्हाट ऑल डू यू हैव?
Okay, so I've been a creative head in 2 societies. I've been a volunteer in 2 societies, and now I'm the vice president of one society.
See, being a vice president demonstrate leadership skills, organizing skills, etc. So this is a must have. Then you mentioned उससे पहला क्या था, volunteer. Volunteer you can mention, be it non-corporate NGO type work or be it your work related. So that also you can mention. उससे पहले you mentioned
Creative head's position.
क्रिएटिव हेड. ठीक है, तो हेड अगेन लीडरशिप स्किल्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट यू कैन मेंशन. बट इनमें अगर तुमने काम किया, से फॉर एग्जांपल लाइक आई मेंशनड अर्लियर आल्सो, कुछ मार्केटिंग रिलेटेड, कुछ मतलब ऐसे कंटेंट टाइप वर्क विच माइट नॉट बी रेलेवेंट योर एक्चुअल, तो उस पे यू माइट नॉट वांट टू इलैबोरेट, या तुम यू कैन स्किप इट ऑल टुगेदर एज वेल.
Okay, got it.
ठीक है, सो दैट्स हाउ यू pick and choose information you want to include. तो जैसे मैंने सबसे पहले पॉइंट बोला था, राइट डाउन ऑल एंड देन स्टार्ट डिलीटिंग रिडंडेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन.
All right.
Cool. Any other questions or we can move? ठीक है. Some best practices in CV writing. Proper spelling, grammar, and formatting is of utmost importance. We did it in our section for do's. Font should be Arial or Times New Roman. So in my 4+ years of WorkX, I've seen the most professional fonts that we use are Arial or Times New Roman. Try and keep your CV, stick to these formats for your CV. Any other simple plain formats are acceptable, but do not use fancy fonts like I just mentioned in my don't section. A single font should be used throughout the resume. I've just mentioned this again in my don'ts. Do not switch different fonts. Font size should be between 10 to 12. Different font sizes can be used for headings and regular text. 10 se chota becomes very small and it's not legible. 12 se bada becomes too big. It shows that you're just filling in space. It does not look good. You do not have relevant information to put it on your CV. 10 and 12 can be used, say for example, 12 for headings and 10 for main text. So stick to these font sizes. CV should be minimalistic in nature. By minimalistic, I mean एक simple font, एक simple format, plain black and white, and no fancy text, no word art, nothing. CV should only contain a brief description of your story and not the complete story. Again, a repetition of what we did in don'ts. The purpose of the CV is to get you to the interview call. Like I mentioned, CV is the first step in getting your dream job. Clearing the interview is a separate ball game altogether. Do not think कि CV बन गया perfect, you got the job. No. Those are two different steps. I think we had a session a few weeks back wherein we learned some best practices on how to clear an interview. But this is solely on the CV. First step is CV. तो CV बन गया. उसके बाद if you get the interview call, उसके बाद का preparation is altogether different. So to get the interview call, you need to have a good CV, which is what we are learning today. CV should be typed professionally and be proofread to ensure all grammatical errors are avoided. Like I told, professional rakho, keep it very simple, plain, vanilla. And uske baad, since you are the one making the CV, you might avoid or you might forego or overlook some obvious errors, या तो grammatical, या space issues, या फिर कोई spelling error. So always get it proofread by somebody else. Somebody senior, somebody in the industry you know of, your teachers, there are people at AEI. I can be one of them. I can help you proofread your CVs. This reminds me, after we've had this session, I'm sure some of you will go either a CV from scratch or edit your CVs for those of you already have one. So what we can do is in the next session that will mostly be in the coming weekend. So what we can do is a few of you can send in your CVs a day or two in advance, send in by Friday to Kaushal. And I can go through those and we can take up how to alter, how to make a few changes. We can basically proofread the CV and make changes during the next weekend session. So feel free to drop in your CVs a day or two in advance. We'll not be able to do all of it, but I'm sure we'll be able to cover 3 to 4 CVs next Sunday. So it'll purely be on the basis of first come first serve. तो जिसने पहले भेजा उसका होगा.
And where to send the CV?
We'll be sharing या तो link या फिर we'll be sharing details कहाँ share करना है. We'll do that after this call.
Okay.
These were some best practices in CV writing. I'm sure there's a lot. This is not an exhaustive list, but a few that I could come up with. One of you asked a very good question that's on the length of a CV. Ideally, it should not exceed 2 pages. 2 pages से ज़्यादा तो कभी नहीं होना चाहिए. But again, this is not a hard and fast rule. This is a professional good to have, not a must have. CV should not have empty spaces, either 1 page or 2 pages, no in between. We have covered all of it. For a fresher, a 1-pager CV is enough. अगर थोड़ा ज़्यादा है तो 1.5 हो जाता है, तो do not keep it. Either include more information, elongate it to 2 pages, or shorten it and bring it to 1 page. 2 से ज़्यादा तो in any case नहीं होना चाहिए. Any questions up until now before we move on to the format? I think we're running short of time and I'll quickly take you guys through. We've covered most of it, but we'll still cover it for completeness. The first name, last name, for example, Harsha Mansal, like I told, this is the header of your CV. You should not have CV or resume in your header, just your name. Towards the left in your left alignment should be your email address and your contact name. Do not mention email address and then your email ID. Just mention your email ID. Again, do not mention contact number and then your number, just your contact number. Similarly, towards the right will be your age, gender, and current residence. Simply your age, comma, your gender, and in a line below it should be your city of residence. Next up, we have the objective statement. For example, to give something back to the society, this was my career objective. This is not a good one, I would say, for actuarial perspective. I can share some examples of objective statements. You can take a reference and you can build your own objective statement, but please do not copy paste objective statements, because this should be customized as per your career objectives, your career goals. A thrown around example and a copy pasted example is also does not give a good impression about you. So always try and build your objective statement. I'll give you some examples at the end of the session. Professional qualifications we've already discussed. I think professional से पहले education academic आएगा. This is my mistake, sorry. Academic पहले डालना, wherein you'll mention your year from year 2, for example 2015 to 2017, your class 12 from so and so school, graduated with in the year 2017 with so and so marks. Marks अब तभी mention करना when you have good enough to get it highlighted, but अगर poor है and you do not want to highlight it, so basically अगर marks नहीं हो तो they do not care about it, but अगर अच्छे marks है तो leaves a good impression to mention it. But अगर say for example I am mentioning 60%, तो that shows कि मेरे marks ही अच्छे नहीं, तो वो ऐसे ही reject कर देंगे. But if I have say 85%, 95%, तो वो मैं mention करूँगी तो वो highlight होगा कि I have a good percentage. So on the basis of that, you have to tailor your statements. Any question?
Ma'am, degree college CGPA, does it matter?
Yes, definitely. But again, like I told, अच्छा है तो mention, नहीं है तो don't.
Ma'am, because we are doing professional courses, तो generally वहाँ पे अच्छा score नहीं होता. So interview will understand this score.
तो score मत mention करो. तो जैसे अच्छा in 10, 12 is 90, 85, तो अच्छा in college is a 7+ CGPA. तो you can mention that. अगर उससे below है तो I will tend to avoid.
Okay.
ठीक है. Moving on to the professional qualifications. Again, since you guys, most of us are pursuing actuarial science, your subject name, institute name, the year in which you passed that paper, the marks if it's good. If not, you can just mention cleared CT1, cleared CM1 from IFOA in 2017. And mention this in a table format, क्योंकि actually you have a lot of papers. अगर किसी के बस 2-4 ही हैं तो you can mention 1-2 ऐसे करके CM1, CS1. But if you have a whole list of it, तो एक table बना दो, subjects, your year, your institute name, and then mention it. It looks good. ठीक है. हाँ बोलो.
मैम CM1 CS1 का मार्क्स जो सकता है अगर उसमें अच्छा मार्क्स आया है तो.
हाँ, definitely, like I just mentioned, जहाँ पर भी marks अच्छे हैं, worth mentioning, do mention, otherwise don't.
Okay.
Ma'am, the clearing papers, CM1, CS1 and all, they should have been academic qualifications or professional qualifications.
Sorry?
Ma'am, the ones you mentioned right now, CM1, CS1 and all those subjects, they should be in academic qualifications or professional qualifications?
Professional. Academic में आपका school college आएगा. Professional will contain your actuarial, your CA, CS, CFA, anything apart from your school college.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
मैम जैसे
बोलो।
ओवरऑल ओवरऑल हमारी जो परसेंटेज होती है एकेडमिक्स में वो तो शो अच्छी है, तो शो करनी है, और जैसे किसी एक सब्जेक्ट में ज्यादा ही मार्क्स हैं जैसे 98%, तो उसे भी अलग से शो करना चाहिए।
I think subject wise mat jao. If your overall percentage is good, mention that. That's okay. But school college के subjects में घुसना would be a little too much detail. But for example, if you have say an eco-honors degree and if you've scored exemplary performance in the subject economics and if you've gotten some award, तो वो achievements में mention कर देना. ऐसा होता है ना in schools and colleges. If you have exemplary performance, you receive award for a particular subject or so. So वो we can do.
Okay, ma'am.
ठीक है. Any other question? हाँ बोलो. I think somebody unmuted.
मैम कंप्यूटर स्किल्स मतलब कितने होने चाहिए?
I haven't taken computer skills yet. I'm coming to that section. Cool. The next section in our format is computer skills. Very, very, very important for actuarial. Do not avoid. Basic, your Excel and R you learn as part of your CMCS subjects. Your programming languages, somebody might be very good at C++, Java, Python, etc. Abhi ke industry mein Python is something hit in the market and everybody wants somebody experienced in Python. If you have it, well and good. Obviously mention it on your CV. If you do not have it, start to learn it. Other analytical and database softwares like Excel, SAS, SPSS, R, VBA, SQL, Power BI, etc. Power BI is a very recent tool that's very, very popular among industry. So if you do, the ones that I've highlighted, these are very popular and relevant currently. And if you do not have relevant knowledge or experience on these softwares, I would suggest it's time you start learning these. And I'm sure there are various courses available. I think AEI also provides courses for these. Accounting and taxation software like Tally, Saral Tax, etc. These might not be as important as the above, but if you have, that's a good to have. Abhi, the latest regime that's currently in place for insurance companies are IFRS 17, जहाँ पर accounting has also merged with your actuarial services. तो वहाँ पर if you have some accounting knowledge, it's good. मतलब ज़्यादा अच्छे से समझ में आते हैं. Not that we use Tally or Saral Tax in our day-to-day jobs, so these are completely avoidable. Don't make a fuss about accounting softwares.
Excuse me, ma'am.
हाँ.
मैम जैसे हम CM1 CS1 सब पेपर्स में एक्सेल और आर सीखते हैं, तो फिर इन सबको अलग, और मतलब मान लीजिए अलग से हम लोग नहीं सीखे हो, तो मतलब एक्सेल और आर को अलग से मेंशन करना चाहिए हमें?
Yes, if you think you have enough knowledge on Excel and R based on what you have learned on CM1 and CM2, तो do mention. Otherwise, अगर तुम्हें लगता है तुमने ज़्यादा नहीं सीखा during CM1 and CM2, तो अलग से सीख लो Excel के courses लेके. I'm sure colleges में भी subjects होते हैं wherein they are teaching some softwares. Otherwise, also college time पे when you are free, you can do. There are a lot of free courses, free resources available. नहीं भी तो paid resources तो बहुत ही हैं. So you can definitely look to learn those. मतलब these are a bonus. अगर ये सब है तो definitely you'll get the job as a fresher.
Ma'am, in day-to-day actuarial life, which software is used?
See, most of it very, very common. Excel, definitely. Sara MS Office suite. Basically presentations for investor presentations, for appointed actuary presentations. Word for reports. तुम्हारी कम्युनिकेशंस अच्छी होनी चाहिए, ग्रामर अच्छी होनी चाहिए, इंग्लिश अच्छी होनी चाहिए, टाइपिंग स्किल्स अच्छी होनी चाहिए, एक्सेल फॉर ऑल एक्चुअल कैलकुलेशंस, बैकग्राउंड वर्क, एनीथिंग दैट यू डू. एक एक्चुअली का टूल इज एक्सेल. Companies use Profit, but वो again एक modeling software है, that's a later part. You do not have to know Profit abhi as a fresher. VBA, you're for macro building and forms a part of Excel plus VBA. तो VBA बहुत ज़्यादा relevant, बहुत ज़्यादा important है. SQL, Power BI, like I told, it's a very famous and popular tool अभी currently in the industry. बहुत quickly चीजें analyze हो जाती है Power BI में. It's a very useful and easy tool. इंट्यूटिव है काफी, सो यू कैन लर्न पावर बीआई. पाइथन कोडिंग लैंग्वेज में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. पाइथन हेल्प्स अस ऑटोमेट अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. तो हर चीज हम बैठ के नहीं करते, टाइप नहीं करते, देखते नहीं है, पाइथन से ऑटोमेट करते हैं, देन वी यूज. सो दीज आर द वंस दैट आई हैव हाइलाइटेड एंड अ गुड टू हैव. मतलब है टाइम तो ये डेफिनेटली सीख लो. दीज विल ऑलवेज बी अ प्लस ऑन योर सीवी. हाँ,
मैं ये SAS और SPSS क्या है जो आपने लिखा है?
सॉरी आई लॉस्ट यू.
मैम जो आपने वो एनालिटिकल एंड डेटाबेस सॉफ्टवेयर में SAS और SPSS लिखा है वो क्या
हेलो.
है? हेलो
यस यस.
हेलो मैम,
हाँ बोलो.
ये जो एनालिटिकल एंड डेटाबेस सॉफ्टवेयर में आपने SAS और SPSS लिखा है वो क्या है?
ये कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर होते हैं, these were taught during my college time. I haven't used them in my day-to-day work, but these are also some softwares used in your actual. Basically ये सब analytical है, maths, stats ये सब use होता है. But the ones I have highlighted are majorly used and ये आता है तो बहुत easy है job मिलना, interview crack करना. जिससे R also you learn during your CS1, CM, CS2. बट R भी मैंने इतना यूज नहीं करा है. R इज मोस्टली यूज्ड इन द नॉन लाइफ साइड पे ज्यादा यूज होता है. तो दिस माइट आल्सो बी वन ऑफ द सॉफ्टवेयर. मैंने हाईलाइट नहीं करा क्योंकि मैंने ज्यादा यूज नहीं करा अपने वर्क में.
मैम पाइथन कैसे यूज होता है?
लाइक आई टोल्ड, टू ऑटोमेट थिंग्स. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हमें डेटा फाइल्स मिलती है. आई स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द वेरी बेसिक. डेटा फाइल्स मिलती है, उसमें डेटा फील्ड्स होते हैं बहुत सारे, एंड आई नीड टू ऑल्टर एक डेटा फील्ड इन ऑल द फाइल्स. हर कंपनी के लिए, हर लाइन ऑफ बिजनेस के लिए, हर पॉलिसी होल्डर के लिए. कितने पॉलिसी होल्डर्स होते हैं एक कंपनी के? आई कैन नॉट गो एंड ऑल्टर फॉर ईच. तो पाइथन में मैंने एक क्विक कोड लिख दिया जहां पर इट विल गो टू ईच फाइल का ये वाला हेडर वो ढूंढेगा. उस हेडर में वो ये प्लस कर देगा, ये माइनस कर देगा, जो भी मुझे करना है ऑल्टर. इट्स वेरी क्विक. एंड ये तो मैंने बहुत बेसिक एग्जाम्पल दिया. पाइथन हैज अ लॉट मोर. तो इट्स यूज्ड अ लॉट.
Ma'am,
एंड
do we
पाइथन
have
इजी भी है
to,
काफी. हाँ पूछो. सॉरी, व्हाट वाज योर क्वेश्चन?
ma'am, we have to be certificate ready for these, the softwares we are writing in the CV? Like, where have we learned it from?
I think I answered this question earlier. If you're
Sorry,
not
I
paying
missed it.
attention, I'll repeat it. No problem. I think if you're able to answer question irrespective of wherever you've learned it from, you do not mention the place of your learning, Coursera, Udemy, YouTube, so on and so forth. You do not have to mention that on your CV. But if you mention a beginner level or an intermediate level or big expert or whatever, or just learning, so you should be able to answer questions if you're asked based on those softwares during the interview. तो say for example you mention VBA पे कुछ बोल दिया कि उन्होंने tell me how do you do this in VBA, and if you're able to answer, they do not care कहाँ से सीखा है. But if you're not able to answer and फिर भी you got selected for the job for so and so reason, they might ask you for proof later on कि तुमने बोला था VBA इससे सीखा है, उसका सर्टिफिकेट या कुछ है. अगर नहीं भी है, you should have a backing story कि मैंने तो YouTube से सीखा है, मैंने तो फ्रेंड से सीखा है, मैंने तो खुद कर करके सीखा है, तो आई डू नॉट हैव अ सर्टिफिकेट. वही है कि तुम्हें आना चाहिए इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट देन योर प्रूफ ऑफ यू हैव लर्नड इट. अगर सीख भी लिया, सर्टिफिकेट भी एंड यू आर स्टिल नॉट एबल टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन, तो दैट्स ऑफ नो यूज.
Okay, ma'am.
मैम वन मोर क्वेश्चन.
हाँ
मैम
जी.
हाउ डू वी नो कि कौन से पार्ट मतलब कौन से फंक्शंस सीखने हैं विच इज रेलेवेंट इन वर्क? लाइक पाइथन इज अ वेरी वास्ट लैंग्वेज, तो उसमें से हमें थोड़ा ही सीखना होता है मेजरली
हाँ
फॉर
हाँ,
वर्क।
बिगिनर लेवल इज इनफ। बाकी तुम सब चीज तो वर्क बेसिस नहीं सीख पाओगे, दैट यू लर्न ऑन द जॉब, बट तुम्हें बेसिक आना चाहिए। द इंटरफेस, इफ यू आर आस्क्ड टू राइट अ सिंपल कोड, अपने लेवल का सोचो, फ्रेशर को कितना आना चाहिए, दैट यू कैन डू। एंड उसके लिए यू नीड टू, मतलब हैंड्स ऑन एक्सपीरियंस या लर्निंग या इंटरफेस, यूजर इंटरफेस से यू शुड बी acquainted with। तो ये सारी चीज, जैसे एक्सेल यू लर्न इन योर CM1 CM2, तो वो इज गुड इनफ। आर भी तुम सीख जाते हो काफी। उसके बाद भी इफ यू हैव सम इंटर्नशिप अपॉर्चुनिटी या खुद से ही तुम कुछ कुछ करके सीख रहे हो या यू आर डूइंग सम कोर्सेज, तो दैट्स अ प्लस। बाकी बेसिक तो आना ही चाहिए, उसके ऊपर तुम कितना ही सीख लो, दैट्स गुड। इट्स नॉट दैट इफ यू डू नॉट हैव अ एक्सपर्ट लेवल अंडरस्टैंडिंग यू विल नॉट गेट द जॉब, बट अगर है टाइम यू कैन यूटिलाइज इट, तो डेफिनेटली लर्न दिस। इट्स अ बोनस एंड इट एड्स ब्राउनी पॉइंट्स टू योर CV।
यस मैम, लाइक एक्सेल में हम लोग CM1 CSM में थोड़े ही फंक्शन सीखते हैं विच आर रेलेवेंट टू व्हाटएवर सब्जेक्ट वी आर स्टडीइंग। सो जो बाकी सब फंक्शन है, हाउ डू वी नो कि कौन से सीखना है, वो क्वेश्चन है।
तो वही मैं कह रही हूँ, ऐसी कोई एग्जॉस्टिव लिस्ट नहीं है कि तुम्हें ये फंक्शन सीखने हैं, बट यू हैव लर्नड सम। एंड उसके अलावा तो ये तो या तो तुम कोर्सेज करोगे तो पता चलेगा, या फिर यू कैन रीच आउट टू पीपल एंड देन, ऐसा कुछ लिस्ट नहीं है कि तुम्हें ये आना चाहिए, ये नहीं आना चाहिए। ऑन द जॉब तो तुम सीखोगे, बट बेसिक्स आने चाहिए। दिल नॉट आस्क यू स्पेसिफिक ये बताओ, जैसे बेसिक्स आने चाहिए, योर एक्स लुकअप, वी लुकअप, एच लुकअप, योर सम इफ, काउंट इफ, ये तो बहुत बेसिक्स है। और गोल सीक, जो मतलब आई नो इट माइट साउंड मोर ऑब्वियस टू मी देन यू, क्योंकि आई हैव बीन वर्किंग, यू आर नॉट। तो ये तो तुम CM1 CM2 में जितना सीख चुके हो, उसके प्लस यू हैव टू सी व्हाट आर द थिंग्स अवेलेबल ऑन कोर्सेज। अब ये गैप ब्रिज करने के लिए आई थिंक इंस्टीट्यूट्स को ही तुम रीच आउट कर सकते हो।
ओके
मैम, अगर प्रायोरिटी देना है पाइथन और आर में से, तो पाइथन को देना चाहिए ना सीखने के लिए।
सॉरी आई लॉस्ट यू, यू आस्क्ड प्रायोरिटी देना है पाइथन डैश एंड डैश में,
पाइथन एंड आर में, तो किसे देना चाहिए?
पाइथन एंड आर में
आर, हाँ
आई थिंक पाइथन।
ओके।
आर तुम ऑलरेडी सीख चुके होगे अपने CS सब्जेक्ट के साथ,
हाँ
तो पाइथन सीख लो।
ओके।
Cool, we'll move on to the next section. I think we are quite delayed. Achievements we've discussed बहुत डिटेल में. You can mention in one order, either ascending or descending. Awarded with the award name, for exemplary performance, your year, and your company name, your institute name, wherever. Then your extracurriculars, इसमें तुम्हारा सारा आ जाएगा, sports, leadership positions, participation, won, awards, rewards, management fests, NGO, social activities, MUNs, hobbies, everything and anything. You can mention your extracurricular activities. Keep it short and to the point. बहुत ज़्यादा मत include करना, detail भी मत डालना. Next up, finally, we have others में, like I told, this is optional. Your father's name and place of permanent address. Availability, say for example, you are currently in your final year, तुम अभी से CV भेज रहे हो, but your availability will be from May 2025 onwards. So also you can mention your references, like I told, 2 references, one could be from your college and one could be from, say, AEI. And finally, we write a statement saying, I hereby declare that the above mentioned information is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. ये एक line है, you can mention, you cannot mention, first name, last name, date. जो मैं पहले डूज में लिखी थी लास्ट पॉइंट डेट, तो यहाँ पर डेट डाल सकते हो, हर्षा बंसल एंड November 2024. So it shows my CV is current and up to date. Finally, coming to the end of the session, towards the end of the session, we have some frequently asked questions. Will a proper CV help me in cracking the interview? Like I told earlier, it will help you in getting to the interview. Cracking the interview is a separate ballgame altogether. But CV is the first step towards getting to the interview. So CV is very, very, very important. Is the format provided in this document the only format to be used for CVs? No. This is a very plain, simple, vanilla format of a CV. I'm sure there are hundreds of more such ATS compliant formats available. You can use those online or you can reach out to me for a simple format. Finally, how do I improve my grammar and vocabulary? This is solely up to you. Attend courses, do your learnings, attend workshops, whatever helps you. But grammar, vocabulary is very important. Communications, like I told, is a very important part of an actual job. अगर ये सही नहीं है, you won't be able to crack this. You won't be able to write your CV. You won't be able to crack the interview. You won't be able to make presentations, deliver reports, etc. So this might be an hindrance to your dream job. That was it. There might be some frequently asked questions from you as well. So I'm happy to take if there are any.
मैम अगर हम लोग का मतलब एक पेपर दिया उस रिजल्ट नहीं आया अभी तक तो उसको हम लोग को ऐड करना चाहिए कि लाइक अपीयर वेटिंग फॉर रिजल्ट की नहीं लिखना चाहिए?
Yes, good question. You can mention. Again, you should be confident. अगर तुमने वो पेपर अच्छे से पढ़ा है, क्लियर हो नहीं हो, that's not important. If you're able to answer, क्योंकि तुमने अपीयर कर लिया, they'll know that you have the relevant information. तुमने दे दिया एग्जाम तो तुम्हें आता होगा. So be prepared to be asked questions from that paper as well. So mention it, but also prepare it for the interview.
Okay.
But अगर if you have a list, say for example तुमने 4-5 already clear कर दिए हैं, so you can might as well skip that. You'll be asked in the interview कि if you have appeared for any paper in the past, तो वो भी पूछ लेंगे. But if you do not have any, एकदम ही starter, fresher हो, so you can mention cleared CM1, appeared for CS1.
Okay मैम.
मैम ये रिज्यूम पोस्ट करने के लिए जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज कहाँ से फाइंड करें?
Good question. Again, ये I think वो interview वाले में भी cover हुआ था. I can answer this again. There are a lot of places. I'll start with the very basic. तुम college में हो, college placement cells होते हैं. Companies reach out to those placement cells. They in collaboration hold pre-placement talks in your college, and they ask candidates to apply for that position. One is via that. Second is very popular these days is your LinkedIn. Like I told, most of you must already have a LinkedIn account by now. If you do not, it's high time you make one. Make a LinkedIn account, follow those companies. पहले रिसर्च करो अपनी कि किस किस कंपनी में तुम्हें अप्लाई करने हैं, क्या क्या रोल्स तुम्हें करने हैं, किस एरिया में तुम्हें काम करना है. स्टार्ट फॉलोइंग दोस कंपनी, रीच आउट टू पीपल फ्रॉम दोस कंपनीज, लर्न अबाउट दोज. अभी you guys are lucky. Back in our time, 4 years, 5 years back, we did not have all of these facilities. AEI has a placement cell. They have their community groups on WhatsApp. They keep sharing opportunities. Apply via those. There are other sites and platforms like Naukri and others. I'll not go into the details. Whole in all, you have a vast ocean of opportunities. You just need to have the right mindset to look out for those. So these were a few starter examples, and बाकी when you start getting into it, तुम्हें खुद से ही और आने लगेंगे.
Ma'am, how many months prior can you start sending CVs?
Good question again. If you guys are in your final year, already तुम अपने college के pre-placement talks attend करने लग गए होगे. And it's different for different companies. For example, PwC starts their hiring process in August the previous year. For example, 2025 की hiring कर रहे हैं वो, तो August 2024 में वो pre-placement talk देके जा चुके होंगे. Similarly, for WTW, I think it's the similar time, August September time में वो कर लेते हैं. कुछ colleges के बाद में होते हैं, कुछ companies के बाद में होते हैं. It depends. तो pre-placement talk पे तो जैसे आते जाएंगे वैसे वैसे you keep applying. For companies, if they have lateral openings or if they have random openings, not via the colleges, so as and when they have the opening, they have the apply karne ka date. You click on that and apply on the set date. Otherwise, through your referrals and everything, you get in touch with people, ask them when is the good time to apply. Keep sending resumes as and when you are ready. तुम्हें लग रहा है ये कंपनी internship opportunity देती है, reach out to people in that company. Ask कि ये internships कब से कब होती है, when can I send my resume. तो connect. Networking is very very important for freshers, even for experienced, but freshers के लिए all the more क्योंकि they're straight out of college into a vast ocean of opportunities and do not know the right way. So keep talking to people, keep connecting to relevant people. I think that's how you go about it.
Okay.
Ma'am, once we have worked as in like for a year on some job after being a fresher, So we should add a separate section for WorkX, right?
Right. Definitely.
And this section should precede the professional and academic qualifications, or you can write it after that, like in the format.
I think it'll come after. So your name, your personal details, your career objective, your academic, then your WorkX.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
No problem.
Ma'am, मान लो अगर I want to do an internship or a job for just 1 year and then I want to go for masters, तो क्या writing that is necessary in the job profile or no?
बिल्कुल ही नहीं, इट्स अ नो. तब तो वो
Okay.
तुम्हें लेंगे ही नहीं ना. पता ही है कि तुम 1 साल में चली जाओगी.
हाँ, तो वो कर सकते हैं क्या ऐसा?
नहीं, वही तो मैं कह रही हूँ. You should not.
हाँ, मतलब if you want to work for just a year, should you join in a company or there is a minimum area, मतलब minimum years required की?
See, some companies do have a bond thingy. वो separate है कि वो 2
Okay.
साल तक के लिए करते हैं. But some companies do not have it. But what I am trying to say, do not mention to it. Although back of the mind
हाँ.
तुम्हारे ये है कि तुम्हें 1 साल WorkX करके MBA करना है.
हाँ.
But do not mention it on your CV. Do not mention it in your interview. क्योंकि always and every time companies look for people who are stable and who are going to stay with them for a longer term.
हाँ,
वो
हाँ.
मतलब hiring comes at a cost and time. काफी effort लगता है. तो do not want to invest it on someone who leave them in another year. फिर उन्हें 1 साल बाद वापस ये सेम प्रोसेस करना हो. तो why would they hire you? तो do not, मतलब although I told कि do not lie, this is not lying. This is just hiding some information.
Right.
Don't mention कि मैं 1 साल के लिए ही ज्वाइन कर रही हूँ. हो सकता है वो 1 साल तुम्हें काम इतना पसंद आ जाए, you change your plans.
हाँ.
मतलब that is separate, but पहले से if you say this is a negative. कि if you have plans of pursuing an MBA, so they might not want to take you.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
What about career gaps?
Sorry.
What about career gaps?
Career gaps are all right. पहले taboo था, it's not at all these days. They'll just ask you to elaborate it during an interview, and if you're able to elaborate well, it's absolutely all right. Don't think of it as an hindrance. कि career gap है तो नहीं होगा. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
ma'am is
You should just have a good backing कि क्यों था career gap, what did you do in your that period, and that's good to go.
ma'am is ATS
Okay.
score important?
पहले होता था and अब तो ऐसे भी I think most resumes are ATS compliant. For some companies direct screening ही वैसे होती है. They have an ATS software. वहाँ सारे resumes डलते हैं. जो नहीं होता direct reject हो जाते. So it's a good to have. मतलब क्यों ही chance लो ना.
Ma'am,
If at all.
I just made a resume and I put it on many websites for ATS score. Some scored it differently, some scored it differently, like extremes. So how should I look over it?
This is okay. You just need to have या तो किसी सीनियर से प्रूफ रीड करा लो, किसी नोन एक्सपर्ट से, या फिर गो टू अ वेल नोन एंड ट्रस्टवर्दी वेबसाइट. मतलब आई एम श्योर 4 अच्छे होंगे, बट चारों में कुछ अलग नहीं आएगा, कुछ सिमिलर आएगा. ऐसा नहीं है एक ही तुम्हारा CV विल गेट एकदम एक्सट्रीम्स ऑन 2 गुड वेबसाइट्स.
Like one showed 85, like other showed it 70.
Which is okay, काफी पास ही है. तो 85 है, 70 है. If you can make some changes, come to the middle of it, it is good. I don't think it's a bad score.
All right.
Ma'am, what is ATS?
Application tracking system. ये होते हैं कंपनीज के पास सॉफ्टवेयर होते हैं जहाँ पर ATS compliant सॉफ्टवेयर होते हैं. एंड अगर योर CV बेसिकली एप्लीकेशन ट्रैकिंग सिस्टम एक सॉफ्टवेयर बिल्ड होता है जहाँ पर CVs आते हैं, दे आर पुट इन द सिस्टम एंड एक सेट फॉर्मेट में फॉर्मेट होते हैं एंड द रेलेवेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन दे वांट वो वहां से चेक कर लेते हैं एंड देन दे आर ईदर पुश्ड फॉरवर्ड और रिजेक्टेड. तो इफ योर CV इज नॉट ATS कंप्लायंट वो ऑटोमेटिकली रिजेक्ट हो जाते हैं.
मैम तो किधर किधर कौन सी कंपनीज यूज करते हैं?
Is that answered?
Ma'am, which companies use this? Only the big companies or any?
I do not know, but it's nonetheless, irrespective of whichever company you use, it's always good to have, no? तुम्हारे ATS compliant होगा, तो whichever company uses वहाँ तुम्हारा accept हो जाएगा, and जहाँ नहीं use हो रहा तो automatically मतलब बुराई कुछ नहीं है इसमें if you have an ATS compliant resume.
Okay, ma'am.
So now,
If I
what is
should
like the criteria for this ATS compliance?
Criteria कुछ नहीं है, like I told, software to software depend करता है. Like somebody also just mentioned कि किसी पे उसका score 85 आया, किसी पे 70 आया. So it depends on what software they are using, what is their format of the ATS. You'll get it on various online websites. I think Canva also has it, and there are a lot of other websites. What I'll do is I'll be sharing the PPT, some notes, and some other relevant information. एक format भी भेजूंगी, तो उसके साथ I'll also be sharing the format of an ATS compliant resume, if that's okay.
Hi, ma'am. Actually, a few months back, I learned Python from Udemy, and in that, it mostly got everything of CS on like regression and hypothesis testing. So, is that enough for me, or should I learn more in Python and go deep in it?
इतना deep fresher level से they do not expect, like I told earlier as well. They just want you to know the interface, the basics, and if they ask you something simple like तुमने सीख लिया सारी coding regression, topic में मत जाओ. But if you know the basics, say for example they tell you कि write a code for automating a conversion of CSV to XLSX या फिर vice versa XLSX to CSV, तो वो simple सा code तो तुम लिख ही दोगे ना if you have उतना deeper understanding of Python.
Yes.
तो they just want to know कि तुम्हें कितना आता है, because I'm sure बहुत ज़्यादा complex use होता है actual world में, but उतना complex they do not expect of you right now.
Okay. ठीक है.
Any other questions? All right, I think I missed one thing. We'll quickly go through that as well.
Ma'am, list of objectives.
हाँ हाँ वो भी दूंगी. Before that, alongside our resume, when we attach our resume, email भेजते हैं हम किसी को, तो वो email body में क्या लिखना है? I have a sample for it. I'll be quickly taking you guys through that as well. So मेरी screen दिख रही है ना?
Yes.
ठीक है. So your heading will be this. For example, Harsha Bansal resume for opening in the risk insurance team. हेलो अमन. जैसे मैंने लिंक्डइन पे किसी का पोस्ट देखा, उसका नाम अमन था, उस पे उसने अपनी ईमेल आईडी दे रखी थी. ये थिंक ऑफ इट एज माय ईमेल का बॉडी. हेलो अमन, होप यू आर डूइंग वेल. I came across this post on LinkedIn regarding the vacancy and I'm interested to apply for the same. As for my introduction, I'm a final year student at St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, batch 2020, pursuing BCom. ये मैं इसीलिए मैंने ऐसे बनाया है क्योंकि this is for a fresher, जहाँ पर we are in our final year, we are applying for either an internship or a fresher level job. अभी मैं final year में ही हूँ and I'm pursuing so and so and I've cleared so and so papers from so and so institute. I'm a keen finance enthusiast and I'm seeking opportunities in finance, risk insurance domain. Please find attached my resume for your perusal. Thanking you in anticipation for taking the time to consider my profile and reviewing my resume. I look forward to hearing from you. Yours faithfully, Harsha Bansal. This is एकदम plain, simple, vanilla format. इससे ज़्यादा too much हो जाते हैं, इससे कम too less हो जाता है, तो keep it, stick to this only. ठीक है? Any questions on this?
Ma'am, this is email.
ईमेल बॉडी जहां पर तुम अपना रेज्यूमे अटैच करोगे. दिस मेक्स अ गुड इंप्रेशन. मतलब एक होता तुम करते हाय प्लीज फाइंड अटैच माय रेज्यूमे थैंक्स, उससे बेटर डू दिस.
लाइक हम तो लाइक प्लेसमेंट सेल जो होता है एआई का उसके थ्रू कर रहे होते हैं, तो उसके अंदर तो इस चीज की नीड नहीं है.
इफ यू आर सेंडिंग टू पी सेल
ओके
तो नीड नहीं है. इफ यू आर सेंडिंग डायरेक्टली टू somebody in the, जैसे लिंक्डइन पे तुमने एक पोस्ट देखा, उस पे लिखा हुआ है कि माय कंपनी इज लुकिंग फॉर फ्रेशर्स एंड सो. जैसे अभी आईसीआईसीआई प्रू में काफी इंटर्नशिप अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू लिंक्डइन यस्टरडे ओनली. तो वहां पर इफ दे हैव मेंशन कि माय कंपनी इज लुकिंग फॉर दिस, वहां पर नीचे लिखा हुआ है कि अप्लाई ऑन दिस ईमेल आईडी. तो उस ईमेल आईडी को जब तुम क्लिक करके ईमेल भेजोगे तो यू राइट दिस ईमेल बॉडी and वहीं पर you attach your resume. So it shows a good impression of you in front of the person taking up your application.
मैम ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलती है एक्चुअल वर्ल्ड में?
Sorry?
मैम डू वी गेट मोर अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन एक्चुअरीज नाउअडेज?
Yes, काफी है, बहुत है अब तो। पहले तो इसकी 1/10 भी नहीं थी। And you would know if you're up to date with the industry and current affairs. So insurance penetration is growing. Insurance companies are opening up. A lot of this is creating more jobs for actuaries. And actuaries are not just predominantly in the insurance role. That's a traditional one, but they're also in the investment and other areas which are risk denominated areas. So काफी opportunities है. Back when I was in my college days, तब तो काफी लगता था कि there are not enough opportunities, but it's not the case these days.
And ma'am, which specific domain in insurance, life insurance, general insurance, pension?
सब में है, life, non-life, pension, सब में. It depends on what your calling is. Say for example, you enjoy papers like CT1, CT5, reserving and your life death probabilities, जहाँ पर तुम calculate करो. You can choose life insurance as your sector, but wherein you are enjoying regression testing, CS1, your GMM models, etc. Those are mostly used in non-life, so you can choose that as your preference. अगर तुम्हें pension retirement अट्रैक्ट करता है तो चूज दैट. सब में है, ऐसा कहीं पर भी नहीं है कि इसमें ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटी है इसमें कम है. सब जगह है. There are immense opportunities.
Ma'am, should we apply for Indian companies or other MNCs?
Depends on what you want.
What is the difference?
Indian core insurance. So again, difference तो बहुत सारे होंगे, but decide what your calling is. By MNC, you mean you want to go for a global firm which has all, say, investment function, life function, non-life function, and you want to do the variety work, तो apply for that. If you want to know शुरू से एंड तक बेसिक्स एक लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में स्टार्टिंग से एंड तक क्या होता है, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम पॉलिसी इंसेप्शन, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, एक्सेट्रा, तो ज्वाइन अ कोर लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कंपनी इन इंडिया. इफ यू वांट टू, अगर तुम IAS से पेपर दे रहे हो एंड यू आर मोर कीन ऑन डेवलपिंग नॉलेज इन द इंडियन इंश्योरेंस बैकग्राउंड, तो इंडियन regulations will be followed by Indian companies. Join the Indian company. Since most of us are pursuing from IFOA, तो तुम जो आगे जाके स्पेशलिस्ट पेपर्स में पढ़ोगे, those are may be more relevant to companies outside India. वहां पर MC, EV, that might not be more relevant. So you might want to apply in MNCs or consulting companies that have projects overseas. Currently, we have a new standard come across, that's IFRS 17, which is a globally accepted standard used by both Indian and non-Indian insurers. So you'll be learning that any which ways in any of the company you work with. So it depends on what your calling is. पहले डिस्कस करो विद पीपल कि लाइफ में कैसा काम होता है, नॉन लाइफ में कैसा काम होता है. गो बैक एंड डिसाइड कि तुम्हें कैसा काम करना है. लिस्ट डाउन योर प्रोज, योर कॉन्स, एंड देन go accordingly. I do not want you to form an opinion based on what I say. इसलिए I'll try to keep silent in this regard. But you have to reach out to people separately. Reach out to somebody who's working in the life insurance. Reach out to somebody who's working in the non-life. Somebody who's working in retirement. Somebody who's working on investments. And then list down your pros and cons and select what is good for you, what's bad for you, what you want to do, what you do not want to do, and then choose basis that. Initially, as a fresher, I would say keep your mind open to anything that comes on your plate. जो भी आता है, ऐसे don't be very sticky and fussy about कि मुझे तो retirements पे करना ही नहीं है. हो सकता है you start enjoying it, and हो सकता है you have that sense of satisfaction कि I am also part of making that retirement scheme for my country. मतलब bigger picture सोचो, तुम financially वो कर रहे हो, educate कर रहे हो to the society, you are helping build a product. तो बहुत लोगों के basically individuals have different goals, different objectives, different learnings, different purposes. So it'll be very different for different people. For example, it is believed कि consulting में बहुत rigorous work hours होते हैं, and core insurance में नहीं होते. So this might be a calling for somebody कि मुझे तो ज़्यादा मतलब I do not want to stress myself with a lot of work, so I might not choose consulting. But somebody might be willing to stretch and work more, but they want variety of work and they want to see different companies के different projects. So they might choose consulting over a core insurance company. So this is a vast ocean of questions and knowledge that we can discuss on. You can reach out to me also separately if you have any particular question on this, but abhi you cannot take this up because it will be a very long discussion.
Okay, miss. Thank you, miss.
मैम एक
Any other
क्वेश्चन है.
question? हाँ.
हाँ, जैसे आपने लाइफ और नॉन लाइफ के लिए बोला कि these are the areas of interest that you have, उस पे से you can decide. वैसे इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड फाइनेंस के लिए what do you think is the main area of interest that you should have?
Sorry. There's a paper on investments called SP5, but SP5 में what you learn is also what you learn in CM2. So if you've already studied the content and the course of CM2, you will know. So basically investments में you will know market, you'll know trading, you'll know financial markets, basically trading, investing, how are these derivatives, futures, equities priced, how are these traded, etc. अगर ये सारी areas तुम्हें interest करती है, go for investments. अगर तुम्हें लगता है you did not enjoy the paper CM2, तुम्हें derivatives समझ नहीं आता, तो do not go for it.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, the thing is, finance में interest है, but they are not much interested in actuaries. They prefer CA and CFA more.
Sorry, didn't get your question.
Ma'am, generally for finance fields, they are taking up CAs and CFAs much more than actuaries.
What do you mean by finance role? जैसे
Ma'am, like pricing in something or making a portfolio.
I don't think so. If you possess the relevant knowledge, तुम CM2 अच्छे से पढ़ चुके हो, तुम्हें वो सारी चीजें interest करती हैं, and if they ask relevant questions and you are interested and you're able to answer, I think that should not be a hindrance. Definitely, अब जैसे इंश्योरेंस में एक्चुअरीज को प्रेफर करते हैं दैन नॉन एक्चुअरीज, तो प्रेफरेंस वो उसके लिए होगी, तो ट्रेडिशनल रोल्स ज्यादा होते हैं एक्चुअलीज के लिए, बट ऐसा नहीं है कि होता ही नहीं है कोई. आई नो अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन हु डिड हर actuarial in college and then she's doing a finance job, but वही है, थोड़ा रेयर है, ऐसा नहीं है कि एकदम all together you'll be rejected. Apart from this, I also forgot to mention there are also audit roles for actuaries. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम बस back end calculation से करते रहते हैं, तो जो ये करते हैं उसका भी audit होता है, like audit big fours करते हैं, तो big fours में भी actuaries होते हैं. So those are also, मतलब काफी roles I can go on and talk about those, but we'll keep that for some other time. We have already stretched a lot. I'm happy to take one or two more questions if there are any important ones. Otherwise, feel free to drop in via an email or reach out to me via LinkedIn or send in through via Kaushal. I'll be rolling out the necessary documents and the material that I've been talking about. And you guys can send in your CVs. Please send in by Friday so that I can go through those on Saturday and we can discuss it on Sunday morning.
Ma'am, can you give any email ID to contact?
हाँ, ये बेसिकली ये जो क्या कहते हैं AEI की email ID है. Do you want my personal email ID or for sending in your resume? I think for sending in your resume, Kaushal will get in touch with you guys. For contacting me, please reach out to me via LinkedIn. ठीक है? Any other questions? All right, we'll leave it here. See you guys on next Sunday. Thanks everyone for joining. Have
Thank
a
you, ma'am.
nice Sunday.
Thank you, ma'am.